Paul Jones Drug is Elk City's most experienced compounding pharmacy, meaning they can custom make your prescription medications to your doctor's specifications, safely and effectively providing you with exactly what you need. And for your convenience, Paul Jones Drug has a drive-through pickup window as well as curbside service for testing and vaccinations, and offers free local delivery. Just a couple reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
If you build it, he will.
It's the Skinny on Sports Podcast with Aaron Cow.
I throw balls far. You want good words? Data language.
Talk real sports with a real man.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
And now, here's the be-all, end-all, know-it-all of high school, college, and pro sports. Aaron Skinny Cow with the Skinny on Sports.
We're talking about practice, man. I'm the MVP.
Good Paul Jones Drug Tuesday out there, Western Oklahoma. Welcome to the Skinny on Sports right here on 98.1 FM, the Sports Animal. Glad to have you along for the next hour. We got all kinds of cool stuff. We'll keep on talking about the college football, from either the transfer portal to what happened to Florida State to the bowl games. There's all kinds of topics sprouting up all over college football. We'll hit that. It's Tuesday, so we'll do our NFL week in review. Maybe a devastating injury last night in that game to one of the favorites in the AFC. We've got high school hoops tonight all over the place. We'll talk about that and many other things and whatever else is on your mind. But first, we have the mayor and we have one of the stars of Elk City girls basketball and softball in the house. It is Cory Speiker and Ella Sottile. What are you guys doing?
Oh, well, we're just coming in to do a little promotion, guys.
What are you promoting?
Well, so first of all, this is the time of year. Of course, it's Christmas, so we have the Mayor's Toy Drive that's going on. Just kind of wanting to let everybody know a little bit of info about that. If you are in need of toys for your family and you're an Elk City resident, you have till December 8th to come sign up at City Hall to let us know how many children, what age, boy, girl, that kind of stuff, so that we can get toys lined up for them. And then you will receive a letter back stating the night of December 14th. We will pass those out between 6 and 7 o'clock at the Civic Center. But there's plenty of places you can take toys to. City Hall, you can take toys to the Arrowhead Center, you can take toys to the police station, fire station, you can bring them to Mountain Man's. There's boxes there. If you want to bring new unwrapped toys other than City Hall, you can do that. If you have monetary donations, maybe you don't want to bring a toy, if you want to just donate some, please take that to City Hall. But just a great cause to have Elk City people helping Elk City people. Absolutely. And then we have Ella Sottile in the house because she's part of the Elk City Key Club, let alone being, Mrs. Athlete. But she is also part of the Elk City Key Club, and they are partnering with me tonight at the basketball game. So I'm going to put her on.
Okay. All right, Ella, what's going on at the game tonight?
Yes, thank you, Cory. So I am the president of Key Club. So tonight, if you bring an unwrapped gift to the game, you get in free. And then also we're having a pancake supper also that night. And so get in free to the game with a gift, which will go to the Mayor's Toy Drive, and then enjoy pancake. And
help the Key Club.
So it's like it's a perfect evening, right? And our friends from Clinton, they can bring a gift as well, right? And it doesn't just have to be Elk City fans that bring presents and eat pancakes. It can be just anybody that shows up tonight.
Correct.
But it has to be an unwrapped gift.
Correct.
So unwrapped gift, bring it just like you're going to go buy a ticket at the front, or even sometimes, I know Miss Roberts at the back there for the different entries. So just bring an unwrapped gift and hand it to them, and bam, you're in the game. And then just make a beeline to the Commons for the pancake supper. Now, are you cooking? Are you? I mean, I know you've got to do the basketball thing. So are you going to do any frying of bacon or maybe whipping up the pancake batter? You got any of that going on today?
Yes, actually. I'm getting a couple of the Key Club members, and we're going to cook it up in the kitchen before. And then so it's just all student-led, basically.
Now, are you concerned about maybe having to be the bacon fryer and then that making your fingertips slick and not be able to shoot the way you're normally able to shoot?
Oh, don't worry. That won't affect me.
Has Coach Hunt turned off the alarm, the fire alarm?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think it was maybe during the boys' game last year, the opener of the season. The popcorn machine caused the fire alarms to go off. Yeah, that's
always like a first-of-the-year tradition, I think.
Hey, guess what? There's 2 things he needs to remember tonight. 1, that, and 2, unlock my
your
door
door.
so I can just sneak up the back and get right to my. Now, I warned you off air, so it's not like I'm springing this on you. But since you've been playing basketball and softball, a lot of people don't call you Ella; they call you Birdie. So now, where did Birdie originate from?
Okay, it's not very interesting, but my parents used to call me Lella Bird, and they dropped the Lella, and then I had a teammate also called Ella, and so throughout sports, everyone just started calling me Bird, Birdie, and it's just stuck.
Yeah, those nicknames tend to stick, as it turns out a lot of times. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to. Do you embrace it and just move on, or you're going like, "Hey, my name's Ella"?
No, I hear Bird more than Ella most of the time, so I get confused when people call me Ella.
Are there younger softball girls that if you said Ella, they wouldn't know who you were talking about? But if you said Birdie, they'd go, "Oh yeah, that's her."
Oh yeah, I'm widely known as just Birdie.
Yeah, well, me and you have something in common. All right, so one more time tonight, at least at the basketball game, tell everybody what they need to do.
So when you come to the game, bring an unwrapped new gift to the front and just give it to one of the people. I'll have a table set up, and then you'll be free into the game.
And then come eat pancakes. To support the Key Club Pancake Supper. Awesome. All right, Cory. So the folks that are in need, they have to go to City Hall to sign up before, what is that,
December
Saturday?
the 8th.
That's
yes.
Saturday?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So
Friday, Saturday. They won't be there Saturday, so it's got to be Friday.
It has to be by Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
Okay, so you have to go from.
You have to physically go to City Hall just because the taking it on the phone never works out, and things get confused with ages and names, and then it just becomes that. So you're going to have to put a little effort into it, and trust me, it's worth it. I mean, there is a lot of great toys and a lot of otherwise, if you're going to be a little short, times are not real rosy right now around here. So, I mean, if you're going to be a little short, sign your kids up for it.
What if somebody is too proud? Can somebody go and sign someone up,
It has to be parent or legal guardian, because they're going to have to be part of it because they have to bring them.
Understand.
And I know pride is there, but I mean, these are your kids.
Right.
So swallow it and let's make Christmas good.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the folks that want to sign up to receive the
Correct.
gifts. Tell us again, where can folks that want to contribute to this, where can they go to drop off toys, or if they just want to make a monetary donation, where does that go?
That's right. So monetary donation or toys, right? If you want monetary or you're taking a toy, go to City Hall to drop the monetary donations off. But toy donations, number one, tonight, the basketball game's a great place because you're going to get some bang for your buck. You're going to get in to see it. You can go make a donation to the Key Club and eat some pancakes. But then you have the Arrowhead Center, you have fire department, police department, Mountain Man's, all have boxes. Play on Main, that's one I've been forgetting. Play on Main, they have a box. And so you can just take your toys by there and drop them in the box and bless somebody this holiday season.
Is there a deadline for the folks wanting to contribute toys or money?
Not really.
Okay. All the way up to the 14th.
All the way up to the 14th there, because if we don't have them for this year, if that doesn't, then we have a overage, and we'll put those up for next year.
One Christmas I woke up, opened up a present, and it was a Barbie. Somebody mislabeled it.
Yeah,
and I was a little upset.
Well,
are we separating
Jared,
toys for boys and girls?
If we're gonna go there, I went to my own grandmother's house one time and got a package of girls' socks. So beat that one.
Little frilly ones. But are they separated so people know?
Yes, and that's why we have to have you come to City Hall, so that we know genders.
Right.
We don't want to give a little boy girls' socks.
Yeah.
And so that's why we say that you have to, come down there and expend a little effort to do that.
Fantastic. Yeah. All right. This is a great cause.
Awesome. It is. It's great all around, because there's several people that benefit out of this. The people that are giving it get the enjoyment of that. The kids that help pass it out get to see what it's like to serve in the community. Key Club getting to take this on, plus having their fundraiser, this is raising the next generation up of Elk Cityans that we want. So.
One last question, just what you mentioned in getting to pass those gifts out. Is there a way where people can volunteer to do that?
Yes, there is. Of course, we can't have hundreds passing them out. In the past, there was a class at Merritt, but since then they don't have that class. So I've asked my youth group to come in and help. But if there are other youth that want to come, still show up if you want that night, and we'll find a home for you.
Okay.
So
awesome. So December 8th is the deadline. Actually, really Friday is the deadline to sign up to receive toys from the Mayor's Toy Drive. You have to go to City Hall in person to get everything. That way, not just for that person to do the effort, but for the folks at City Hall to have it as orderly as possible and give your kids the correct gift for the correct boy or girl.
That's right, because what you don't see is they take that at City Hall. They put all those in sacks, all alphabetized, all everything. Then they transport all of that to the Civic Center, and it's set up by alphabetical order in there, so that night it's as efficient as possible.
That makes sense.
And there's a lot of work. Between the 8th and the 14th, there's a lot of work that goes on. So that's why there's a deadline.
The 14th is what, 6 to 7? Is that what
6 to 7, yes, sir.
6 to 7, the 14th to come
at the Civic
receive
Center.
your gifts at the Civic Center, and then Police Station, Mountain Man's, Play on Main, Arrowhead Center,
Fire Department,
and City Hall.
Yes.
If you want to donate toys, if you want to donate money, you go to City Hall.
That's
just the best way to go.
That's correct.
All right, one more time for Ella. I have a question.
Okay.
What do you want for Christmas? Your dad's listening. If you haven't told him, what do you want for Christmas?
Big, Ella.
This is a way to put him on the spot, not you.
Okay, I've already kind of asked for just like a bag, like one of those Lululemon little satchel thingies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lululemon satchel.
Those are big right now.
And see, so now that it's on
Dylan.
the air,
Right,
he is pretty well forced to have to buy that for you, because all the thousands and thousands of people that know him that are listening will give him a hard time. Come when we get to the game on the 2nd, when Anadarko's here, we're going to give him a hard time if you're not, walking out with your satchel on to warm up, right?
Right.
All right. Key Club tonight. What time is the Key Club pancake supper?
Pancake supper it's from 5 to 7 maybe.
Okay. And I know just from the years past, if you're worried about getting there at like, say, 6:15 or 6:20, you can go to the supper and bring the food into the gym, right? I mean, I know I've seen people eating the pancakes in the gym, if I remember right.
Correct.
So you don't have to be worried about, oh, no, we're running a little bit late, we're going to miss the start of the game. You can still do both. And into the first quarter, it might be a good time to go finish up the Key Club supper. So 5 to 7, Key Club pancake supper. Bring a toy, unwrapped, from the Mayor's Toy Drive, and you get it in free. All right, good luck tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to Ella Sottile and the Mayor, Cory Speiker. Awesome cause. And everybody, get out and donate. And seriously, like Cory said, if times are tough, if you're a little short, or you go down to City Hall and help your kids have a great Christmas, courtesy of the Mayor.
Very good.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. When we come back, we'll talk high school hoops. We'll talk NFL, all kinds of other things. Skinny on Sports on a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday. Coming back at you next. 98.1 FM, The Sports Animal.
Paul Jones Drug offers a free service that makes taking your daily medications safe and easy. It's called convenience packaging, meaning they can combine all your daily medications and put them in sealed, separate daily packages. This process replaces you from having to fill your daily medication dispenser. And as always, Paul Jones Drug prepares individual blister packaging for long-term care patients. With their drive-through window, curbside service, and free local delivery, it's just more reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
The Skinny on Sports.
Welcome back, Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, The Sports Animal. It's a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday. We always thank our man Rodney Skinner and Paul Jones Drug. 809 North Main, Paul Jones Drug is care you can trust. They are the oldest compounding pharmacy in Elk City. You know what that means, Jared?
They know what they're doing?
It means they have the most experience.
Well, yes, exactly. They know what they're doing.
Most experience, that's correct. Free local delivery. You can drive through and pick your stuff up, get tested on the curbside, get vaccinated. Long-term care unit packaging as well. They call those their blister packs down at Paul Jones Drug. Care you can trust at 809 North Main. Phone number 225-2121. Thank you to Rodney and Paul Jones Drug. Oh, it's just a little bit late. Oh, Ella's dad just texted. I thought, oh, here we go. Instead, he's just saying thanks.
Okay.
No, anytime. We'd have been here all hour if we had started listing off her accomplishments. We'd still be going.
Right, yes.
And we got to, at some point, pay the
I
bills
failed
around
to ask,
here.
what's happening next year with her? Do we know?
She's just a junior.
She's just a junior? Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness. Yeah, we
I
would
asked
need
her
2
off air.
hours next year, right?
I asked her off there. She's got an idea.
Good.
She definitely has an idea.
I thought she was a senior for some reason.
Nope, she is just a junior.
Well, good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good for a lot of people.
I can tell you, Murray and Ham are glad about it.
Exactly.
And maybe, see, this is what happens when you get old and you've got because her sister Danny was a really great softball player, played basketball as well. And see, she was the drum major for the band. I think Ella is too. When we would look down there at halftime of the games, I think she is too. But I can't remember if I'm, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, is it Ella or is it Danny? Am I getting those confused, or is it both? But anyhow. Yeah, she's a stud. There's no doubt about it. And so is Cory. The Mayor's Toy Drive, what a cool thing to, spread the Christmas cheer. And as much as it's neat for the folks that receive the gifts, it's also really cool to go donate.
Yes.
It is.
Yes, it is. My kid, and I know we can't do it like this because they want new toys still in the package, but my youngest, God bless her, she keeps saying she wants to donate some of her old toys. I'm like, well, we can find places for that.
Oh, yeah, 7th Street.
Exactly, yeah. So that's the time of the year, and it makes me proud. My kid's thinking about giving more than receiving, and this is a time to think about giving. Absolutely.
Correct.
It is tough out there. The economy is what it is, and people are struggling, so let's help out others.
All right, we got some good high school hoops tonight. Paragon TV, Big Elk TV, Elk City with their second straight I-40 rivalry game. This one at home, the home opener, against Clinton. Elk City teams on Friday. A tough start with Weatherford. The boys, I mean, it is what it is, right? Weatherford's the defending state runner-up with everybody back, and it seems like they've all gotten bigger and longer and better. They're going to do what
college
they did.
Ready.
They're going to do what they did to the Elks to a whole bunch of teams.
Yes.
And throughout the season, with what they've got, man, that 1-3-1 kind of half-court trap, it is just, man, it's hard. It's hard to get the ball. It's hard to make a pass, much less do something toward the rim to try to go score.
What was it called under Richardson over at Arkansas?
40 minutes of hell.
Yeah. So there's 32 minutes.
Yeah, but the difference, I mean, I'm sure they could go full court, but they don't have to. Because honestly, shrinking it down to half court is really smart from Coach Bull because there's not as much space. And so they can occupy even more of it, in those 47 feet between the half line and the baseline versus the 94 feet that span the entire floor. It's just, man, there's just not many passing lanes against them. On the Elkett side, the games are 32 minutes long. For about 27 minutes, that game was ultra competitive. But those 5 or 6 minutes to end the first half, it was 13-12 with, let's say, 6 minutes left in the first half. And then from there, Weatherford outscored the Elkettes 17 to... What was the score? It was 33-16. 33-17. It was a 16-point game. So 20-3. Or 20-4. To kind of pull away, 20-5, whatever that is. Yeah, 20-5. to pull away, and the rest of the game was even.
Yeah,
I mean, we talk about that a bunch when it comes to playoff time. How one bad beginning of a quarter or half of a quarter can kind of end your season.
One run, yeah.
That's what happened. And it didn't end a season, but at least the chances to win the game on Friday night for the Elkats. But not much worry. It's a young team that's figuring out playing with each other and how that's all going to work out. I think that there will be a team by the time this is over. When we get into the playoffs in February, the Elkats are going to be a team that you don't really want to play with what they've got. And here's even one of the cooler things is then after that happens, then you get to think about next year with everybody coming back. Most everybody, Elo and Summer won't be, but everybody else will be. And yeah, it's an exciting time, I think, for Elkat basketball with what's there and what's coming and just the growing up for the next couple of years. Paragon TV tonight. There is a slew. Is this a full slate? I think it's the first time we've had a full slate.
Oh, great.
Of all the teams. So we've got, obviously, boys and girls double headers, 6:30 for the girls, 8 o'clock scheduled time for the boys. Leedy hosts Hydro Weekly. Arapahoe Butler goes to Thomas. Merritt heads to Cheyenne. Shattuck Hammond hosts Shattuck. Canute, you'll be at home against Sayre. And then Eric heads down to Hollis. So that's everybody that we've got in the Paragon Network that's going to be on the floor tonight. Paragon TV 6:30. I'm interested to see what happens in Cheyenne on the girls' side. That youth of Cheyenne, how they can handle the experience and the toughness of what Merritt's going to throw at them.
Yeah, that something you get the youth. There's a lot of unknowns there, and we know that youth at Cheyenne is potentially can be really good. We've seen some of that, and we've seen some losses too, a couple losses, I think. But that would be interesting. But then there's the experience on the other side of it with Merritt, very well coached, very disciplined, very talented. That's going to be a challenge for Cheyenne. But you want those challenges. Canute wants those challenges. They got that Friday night, and Merritt's going to give everybody a challenge. That's going to be interesting for me too.
You're not seeing.
You might get a glimpse of the now with Merritt and the future with Cheyenne. We talk a lot about who's the best team in this area. Like right now, I think that's easily Merritt, girls team. But in the future, I mean, Cheyenne is going to be nipping on a lot of people's heels. Of course, Hammond will be in the mix. Canute will be in the mix. But there's a lot of youth on that Cheyenne team that's going to be playing. You're going to get used to those names is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then I think Leedy's another one that was young.
Yeah,
they're still pretty young, but they have a bunch of experience with those young gals and the run that they were able to make. And it's eerie how much this season's kind of starting out a little bit like that season did a year ago, getting some losses early. I mean, I think they ended up in the state tournament with, 9 losses? But by the time it got to, that area finals, they had every chance to beat Lomega and might even have should have with a couple of free throws. And, Lomega's a team that took the state champ Hammond Lady Warriors into the fourth quarter down the wire. So, they're one that, 5-2, maybe you're thinking, golly, they lost a couple of games. Leedy's not going to be one of those that I'm concerned with because of, first off, what they did last year. Obviously a new coach with Coach Beer, kind of adjusting to maybe a different style. But by the time it's over, I mean, I think you're starting to see a little separation of, Hammond, Leedy, Canute, Cheyenne, Merritt. Kind of, those are starting to be the ones to look at making playoff runs. We'll see about Hollis. They fell at Navajo in their opener. Play Eric tonight. Kind of how they can gel as a team that, football, and they haven't played a bunch of games yet. Looking at one thing that happened yesterday, later in the afternoon, is the rankings came out. The first set of rankings in Class A and Class B. We get to this point, teams have played 7-8 games, a lot of them. At the high end, some others just kind of getting going depending on who plays football, especially in Class A. There's teams that are doing that, and so they kind of hold off a little bit. On the girls' side, I don't think anybody's shocked to see Sealing number 1. It's a team that's loaded again. for Coach Hamer, and that's a team that's going to be really, really hard to beat throughout the regular season. Then obviously, once it gets to the playoffs, is it Ceiling and everybody else for you, or is there somebody else that you kind of think, well, maybe they could?
It feels like
they could be up there.
Yeah, it feels like Ceiling's on that run without knowing a lot. I know Caddo, they have a lot of talent, on the softball field, and that a lot of times in small school that can translate over to the basketball court. So there they are at 2. Surreal, I have a question about at 3. I can't remember without going back and looking at last year's rosters. I mean, they had a couple really talented young ladies that I believe were seniors on that state tournament team that I think got beat by Okarchi in the first round. But there they are at 3. And then you got your usual contenders there like Red Oak, and there's Okarchi at 5. So, and then there's Canute at 8. That's where you want to be, right? I mean,
obviously, top 8 is what matters.
Top 8 is where you want to be. So, but man, Ceiling though, I mean, without even playing a game, I mean, it feels like they're getting ready to make another one of those runs, right? Like they were. I don't know. Do you even say down when they consistently make the state tournament, but down by their standards by not winning them? There they go. Now they're winning, and they did it with a lot of young pieces that are back on this team. So it's going to be interesting to see who can challenge them in Class A.
Yeah, and if there is somebody, a team,
I don't know who it is though. I don't know.
A team that I'm looking for down through here, and I don't see. That was super impressive, I thought, in the state tournament a year ago, and it seemed like they had some back. Was Riverside?
Did they jump to 2A?
That's what I'm wondering.
Because I didn't know, and we're about to talk about boys, and I didn't know until I saw the rankings last night. When did Sentinel jump to A? Was that this year?
Yeah, there you go, 2A. Riverside jumped to 2A. That makes sense, because when I was looking down there, I'm like, wait a minute. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're up in 2A.
So we've got this sent by a couple of different people on the text line. When you look down at Class B, Dover is number 1 in the initial rankings in Class B. And I was at the game. I saw this yesterday, and I was going to screenshot it, and I didn't. And it was basically comparing the number 1 teams in girls basketball in Class A and Class B, which is Ceiling and Dover right now to start. Ceiling girls ranked number 1 in Class A in the first rankings. It's the 11th season of the rankings, of OSSAA rankings, okay? There's been 86 of those. Ceiling has been in the top 10 of every one of them. They've been in the top 5 of 56 of 86, which is 65%. They've been number 1 30% of the time, which is just crazy. It's like Alabama. And they've won 6 titles in those 11 years. Compare and contrast that to Dover. Now, you're thinking, well, Dover was really good. Yeah, before OSSAA rankings, right? Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Thrash was there. This has been a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, I'm back in my high school days.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So the Dover girls are number 1 right now in Class B. It's the first time, or the first time they ever got into the top 20 in the last 11 years was last December. From 2015 season to the 2019 season, that was 5 years. The Dover girls had a record of 6 and 102, including losing 51 in a row.
Wow.
And now they're 6-0 and number 1 in Class B to start the rankings this season. That is incredible.
That is crazy.
Move on to the boys. Looking through the games tonight, any of them kind of jump out at you, thinking one is head and shoulders better than the rest?
Are you talking about rankings?
No, just boys. The games tonight on Paragon TV.
Games tonight. Read them off again to me.
Hydro Leedy, Arapahoe Butler Thomas, Merritt Cheyenne, Shattuck Hammond, Sayre Canute, Eric Hollis.
Nothing really. Not really.
I think if you're going somewhere tonight, go to Cheyenne.
Think so?
Yeah. I think that'll be a competitive boys game between Merritt and Cheyenne. I'm not sure what Hydro has back. Rappo struggled to start. I don't know what Shattuck has either. Let's look at the rankings. Yeah, I'm going to Cheyenne if it's me. Actually, if it's me, I'm going to Canute because it's closest.
It's homecoming. Show up early.
Homecoming, Canute. All right, so the boys, so far, not in our network, but I think so far around here in kind of west central Oklahoma, one team stands head and shoulders above the rest, and that would be Sentinel.
Yeah.
Sentinel to start. Hollis got a win over Navajo on Friday to open their season. I think it's 53-49 was the score there. We've seen Canute, we've seen Hammond, kind of some good games, some a little bit of inconsistency, I guess you could say. I still think by the end of it, with you can't count out Leedy with what they've been under Coach Carpenter. That's going to be a team that's really, they're going to be around by the time the playoffs come around. They just are. They always are. But another one, we've seen him in the state tournament for the last handful of years at a different place, and now he's out here, and that's Coach Johnston at Hammond. There's a bunch of youth on that team. I get it, but that's another one that maybe by the time we get into January, February, kind of adjust to his style and his way of thinking and doing things. That could be a team to kind of watch out for that's maybe doesn't have the best record going into the playoffs, but one that you may not want to see in your bracket.
Yeah, they're kind of like Cheyenne girls where they're young, but a lot of talent on there. I think if you're not ready for them, they can get you. They've already beaten Arapahoe Butler this year, which opened my eyes a little bit. I don't know what Arapahoe has. It might be kind of a rebuilding year for them, but he's a good coach, and just again that youth. There's a couple of freshmen on that team that are ballers that can play, and give them time, get them acclimated to the varsity level of play, and I think they'll be okay. There's a process going on, I think, over at Hammond where they're building up to getting back into contention, back to those regular attendees at the state tournament.
Looking at the rankings, Caddo and OK, number 1 and 2 in Class A. That was such a fun final last year. You remember who OK had? Remember that dude's name?
No.
With the hair?
Oh, yeah, but I don't remember his name.
The Diesel.
Yes.
Diesel Davis.
Yes.
He was awesome.
That was a fun final.
But DJ Dill of Caddo,
yeah,
he's
good.
back. He was just a junior. That doesn't surprise me at all. I think that was the last game of the night, right?
Uh-huh.
A year ago when we finished up the basketball broadcast season. And I think all of us kind of were looking at the rosters for those two teams thinking this may not be the only time we see them play for a state title on this floor, and maybe in the last game of ever in the old big house could be, depending on how they the times work or whatever. But Caddo and OK, with what they brought back off of those state championship game teams, Class A, they're going to be at the top, I think, all year. Interesting though, like you said, Sentinel. A year ago in the Class B state tournament, now they move up to Class A, and you see them right there at number 8, 7-0. So maybe it's a different class, obviously, but Sentinel's still in those rankings and looking to stay in that top 8.
Yeah, and then there's Canute at 14. It's at 6-1. Only loss was to that Sentinel team. We kind of, in my circle over there at Canute, kind of talk about how good can this team be, and it's still kind of a question up in the air. But I mentioned it last week about being pleased, very pleased with how they've played, and they're in a position if they can get it going on a run here and get some wins before Christmas break, and then who knows how far they can climb up. And you just hope you kind of avoid some of those teams, come playoff time. But they got a chance to position. They're in a good position, I think, at 14.
Down in Class B, another feels like collision course from the title game a year ago as well.
Yeah.
With Calumet and Fort Cobb. Calumet 6-0, by far and away the number 1 team in the rankings, and they have been absolutely destroying people. And it really, I'm just putting up a ton of points, 112 in a game already against Lakiba. But Jacobs he brought back a whole bunch and added his son. as a freshman to this. So look out, Calumet. You know they've got the chip on their shoulder, right? Kind of like them and OK both have the chip on their shoulder from a year ago and losing in that state championship game. That can only carry you so far, but I think you're seeing that they've got a really, really good team, and those two may play for it all and everything. They've already played in fall baseball for the title. They may play in basketball, and they may play in the spring season of baseball as well.
Fort Cobb at 3-2. Did you see
Riverside beat them twice?
Have a back home and home with them.
That's what it looks.
17th and braked for Thanksgiving, then turned around and went to Riverside on the 1st. What was that? Friday.
Yep. Yeah, 3-point loss at home, and then they kind of blown out at Riverside. You don't see Fort Cobb on the double-digit end of a loss very often, especially not 20.
They'll be at Burns Flat for the tournament over there this weekend.
Yep.
So if you want to go see them, that's where they'll be.
Looks like Mangum, 12:15 on Friday. I mean on Thursday.
Mangum, yeah.
12:15 there. And then I'll see them at Hinton. I've been there the last couple of years. They're at that Hinton tournament coming out of the Christmas break every year, too.
You know what's crazy about tonight's game between Canute and Sayre? They turn around and play each other on Thursday.
Okay, the boys.
The Moreland tournament, yeah.
The boys and girls, or just boys?
Just boys.
So the boys. Yeah,
girls get Enid JV, which, by the way, Enid JV's in the Woodward tournament, too. Do they have 2 JV teams?
Maybe they do.
Because it's a 6A school. They have enough to have 2 JV squads. Or are there any rules that say your JV team can play as many tournaments as they want?
Yeah, you'd have a hard time believing you have the same.
Because Woodward and
5.
Moreland are like right there next to each other. They go and play because the one in Woodward's like at 11.
Yeah, that's all well and good for the first game.
12:50.
But the next rounds are going to be the same time.
I'm
going to say they have multiple JV teams.
I'm going to assume that too. Yeah.
Maybe a sophomore team and a freshman team or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be high school hoops getting started. This is, I mean.
Yeah, and this weekend, though, there's a lot of tournaments. So this is typically the weekend for
we pour some out.
County.
Let's pour some out for the 5 county. Should have started it always would have started last night.
Year, I think it was a 3-day.
It was just a 3 instead of the whole
week. I
week.
like the 1 week format. You know, some tournaments still do that.
We'll still pour some out for the 5 county.
I know Leedy's. They're going to have an inaugural tournament this year.
I've got that bracket we can talk about, maybe
tomorrow.
Yeah, we're supposed to have the guys on tomorrow.
The guys.
The broadcasters.
Right. You're right. When you do that, yes.
We can
get a little tournament preview.
Yeah, we'll preview all the tournaments. Maybe what happened tonight. I think
very good.
Talon said he wanted to do it. Luke, Lake. We'll have a few. James. So we'll have to set that up.
Yes.
For tomorrow.
Very good.
High school hoops talk, basically the entire show, or a bunch of the show, with what happens tonight. And then, of course, looking ahead to all the different terms. Yeah, Leedy's got a heck of a – I've got that bracket. Double D sent it to me a week ago or so. The most interesting name, you know who it was?
Who's that?
Red Oak.
Red Oak boys?
Red Oak is coming to Leedy. To the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, they pulled some, and we know who coaches. Right?
Luke.
Right. Yeah, so there's that connection there. That's good.
Yeah, there's also there's a couple of connections there. Luke, and then one of the Calc boys is in Red Oak. Went and played baseball at Wilburton, never left. And I think he's on the school board at one point, Randy. So there's another connection back to Leedy. But yeah, I thought that was pretty wild to think of.
Very cool.
I think the fans will clap for Luke.
It'll be a golf clap.
You think when he starts yelling at the officials, you think they'll start, hey, sit down, instead of last year like cheering on with him? You know what I mean?
I don't really want to
get him, coach. Get him, coach. Now to be like, sit down, coach. Oh, it's funny, you know it is.
It's hilarious, but I'm thinking that the small school fans, there's more of a professionalism there at times.
They might.
Text line's gonna have fun with that
one. All right, when we come back, wrap up the show in a Paul Jones Drug at Tuesday. Recap the first segment with what's going on tonight and throughout the next week and a half. Also, you want to do the NFL?
Sure.
With some NFL as well. Skinny on Sports right here on Paul Jones Drug Tuesday.
Paul Jones Drug is Elk City's most experienced compounding pharmacy, meaning they can custom make your prescription medications to your doctor's specifications, safely and effectively providing you with exactly what you need. And for your convenience, Paul Jones Drug has a drive-through pickup window as well as curbside service for testing and vaccinations, and offers free local delivery. Just a couple reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.
The Skinny on Sports.
You can't say on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Welcome back, Skinny on Sports, 98.1 FM, the sports animal. We're wrapping up a Paul Jones Drug Tuesday with a little NFL talk. But Paul Jones Drug, man, convenience packaging, we talk about it each and every week. What is convenience packaging? Well, they individually package your daily medication. So what does that mean for you? That means you don't have to get all your different pill bottles out of the cabinet every Sunday night and start loading up your pill caddy with this amount of this and that amount of that. No. They do it for you. All you have to do is just open up the package, take your meds, and boom, you are off for the day. Durable medical equipment they have down there as well. That's walkers and canes and crutches and the wraps and the braces and it's all those things like that. They do accept most insurances, and an added bonus, at Paul Jones Drug, they have all kinds of awesome gifts and greeting cards. And this is the season. Not that there has to be a reason to go buy somebody a gift, but go check them out, man. They got all kinds of cool stuff down there. I think I bought like 3 or 4 different Christmas presents down there last year at Paul Jones Drug. I need to be stopping by there here shortly for this year as well. 809 North Main, Paul Jones Drug is care you can trust. We thank Rodney Skinner and all the gang down at Paul Jones Drug. Okay, Jared, it's NFL time. Each and every Tuesday, we kind of cuss and discuss what happened over the weekend in the NFL. This past weekend, there really wasn't a great slate of games, if we're being honest.
There's one.
There was Thursday was a game that had teams with winning records at the time, Dallas and Seattle.
Turned out to be pretty good.
And it turned out to be a fun game, at least, to watch. Then, as you said, San Francisco and Philly was by far the marquee game of the weekend. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care who you root for. I don't care if you root for the Cowboys. I don't care if you root for the Eagles. I don't care if you root for the Chiefs. I don't care if you root for Baltimore. I don't care if you root for Detroit. I don't care if you root for Miami, Jacksonville, whoever. The truth is, if San Francisco is healthy, they are the best team in the NFL, and I don't think it's even particularly close.
Oh, yeah. That was clear on Sunday night or afternoon. Yeah, they're healthy, and they're getting back. They're getting healthier and clearly on a roll. So hard to argue against that. I think Eagles, though, they've been, that last week when they got that overtime win, and there's all that talk of they just have that moxie, that pedigree of winning, whatever you call it. I think that's good. I mean, but sometimes I think that was evident, and 49ers are really good, like you said. But when you keep playing with fire, I guess, it's going to come up and get you. It didn't help that Hurts went out. But I think by then the game kind of felt like it was in hand. But they keep playing like that edge, that moxie. The tush push eventually, it's going to work or not work. And close wins are wins. But I think in the NFL, those come up and get you.
Yeah, so they were, 10-1 going into the week last week. And of those 11 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them had been one-score games.
See?
And they won 7. Yeah, eventually that kind of goes.
I mean, it's impressive because it shows shown you, hey, they know how to win close, whatever. They know how to end the game with more points. They know how to win. But that, I think, catches up with you. I think you're playing with fire. Kind of like Minnesota last year.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It's exactly like Minnesota a year ago. Yeah, they set it right. They were like 11-0 in one-score games, but eventually that runs out. You cannot continue to – in a league with this much parity, in a league where the games are always so tight, that worm is going to turn eventually. And it turned for Minnesota a year ago in the playoffs. That worm hadn't turned yet for Philly. They just got whipped on Sunday. The 49ers were incredible. And so that out of that spawns the MVP debate. Immediately following that game, the shortest odds for MVP was Brock Purdy, which is just amazing to me that's possible. I think this is
those odds from Vegas go there because the 49ers are considered the odds-on favorite to win Super Bowls. So by virtue of that, who's their quarterback?
Their quarterback, and he played well.
He did play
His
good,
stats were good. There's always that.
Man, you got McCaffrey, you got Samuel.
There is, and it's funny to hear Eagles
Kittle.
fans say that because Jalen Hurts has the exact same plethora of
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah.
I think this MVP race is going to be really interesting because I think all the quarterbacks in the race have some warts. And so could this be a year that the MVP isn't a quarterback?
So who would shoot up your list on that one? Would
Tyreek.
it be Tyreek Hill?
If Tyreek, no receiver has ever had 2,000 yards in a season. I think Calvin Johnson was 1960-something, maybe, 1964 a few years back. Cooper Kupp got in the 1930s or 40s. Now, I get it, especially if he can do it in 16 games and not have to have that extra 17th data point and extra to run up, his total. I think Tyreek is an obvious choice to maybe be there. Christian McCaffrey, I think, is another guy on the offensive side. And then, is there ever any way that you could see a T.J. Watt or a Myles Garrett, those types of guys, be able to wiggle their way into this discussion?
Hard to see it defensively. They'd have to be incredibly dominant and win games. Didn't help the Browns lost to a really bad Rams team.
Yeah, easy on the really bad.
Bad?
I don't think they're that bad.
Mediocre.
I think they're pretty decent if they're healthy. So Tyreek's got 1481 through 12 games. So 600 yards in 4 games, or I'm sorry, 500 yards, 519 yards in 4 games. That certainly doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, and that's just to get there in 16, much less the extra game, the 17th. I mean, my gosh. 5 games for 519 yards, that seems like a mortal lock for Tyreek to get to 2,000 in the full season. But I think if he's going to have a hope to win the award, it would certainly help to do that 2,016 games instead of 17.
Any love for the guy throwing it to him?
I don't think so. Some. I mean, he'll get some, but I don't know that.
Because by virtue of that, because we're saying this wide receiver needs to be in the discussion of the MVP. I mean, that's why I say someone like Samuel or McCarthy. Is that why Purdy's good? Because he has those guys. Is Tua good because he has Tyreek, right?
100%.
So is Purdy good because he has Samuel and McCarthy and Kittle?
Well, it all goes hand in hand.
Right.
But I think Purdy's going to get more love than those other guys because of where he was drafted.
Understood.
And I kid you not, I think if he'd have been a pick before, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But because he is Mr. Irrelevant, there's already a name for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that helps him. But it feels like Tyreek gets the credit for Tua more than Tua gets the credit for Tyreek, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I still have a hard time believing it won't be one of those quarterbacks. I got another name for you, Jared, that can absolutely nail this award down in the next 4 weeks?
That would be Dak.
1,000,000%. It's Dak Prescott. If. And this is a huge if. I get it. But you look at starting with Seattle, and you look at what he's got coming up. This week against the Eagles, you go to the Bills, you go to the Dolphins, then you host the Detroit Lions. I mean, this week is for first place in the NFC East. At least to forge a tie against the Eagles. Now, Dallas' schedule is way harder down the stretch than Philly's, and it's more than likely Philly's going to win the division. But let's say he goes 4-0. Let's say the Cowboys win out, and that'll end up being what, like 9 in a row? Which is hard to do in the NFL, no matter who you're playing. But they've won 4 in a row right now, and they'd have to win the last. If they win the rest, listen, Dak Prescott's going to be the MVP. And I think he can get there if the Cowboys lose one game, as long as he's playing well. As long as he doesn't have a repeat of what happened in San Francisco, which people still haven't forgotten about. And all of a sudden you look up, and half the picks he threw was in that one game. 26 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, 75.4 QBR, which is second in the league. There's a definite world where Dak Prescott is your MVP of the NFL.
And 2 of these next 4 are, I think this is the thing, 2 of these next 4 are night game, prime time, nationally televised games. If he goes out and just balls in those games and gives everybody a reason to vote him in, absolutely. And he needs kind of like Heisman moments. He needs an MVP moment. You know, the first time they played Philly, he maybe, stepping out of bounds, all that stuff. If he makes some plays, game-winning drive, does it with his arm, does it with his legs, makes smart decisions, people go, that this is why they won. They won because of that guy. That's their MVP. That's our MVP.
That's right. It'll need, destroying these teams would be fine too. As long as
I'd be okay with that as a Cowboys
as long
fan.
as he's a reason they're destroying them, right?
Right.
But it would always help to, on Sunday night, be down 4 with 2 minutes to go and no timeouts and lead the Cowboys down the field and throw the game-winning touchdown. Absolutely, That's going to help.
Instead of stepping out of bounds, instead of throwing the costly interception in the end zone or something.
Which he hasn't.
Right. He's kept those down. He's played smarter.
Which is kind of scary. Because in the history
you're
of
waiting
Dak,
for it to
that
happen.
means they're coming. Right?
You're waiting for it. But maybe he's turned a corner. Maybe he's more in trust, and it really helps he has CeeDee Lamb. He can almost just throw it up to.
Since that Philly game, counting that Philly game and on, 16 touchdowns, 1 pick.
I know, and I'm just looking. I was reminded of this. Their tight end game has really come alive.
That's helped.
Ferguson has really come on.
It's amazing how once you open some of that up, it goes from, man, they have no weapons outside of CD. All of a sudden, Brandon Cooks is getting a little bit of a rhythm. Michael Gallup's catching a couple of passes.
It's like he's figuring out everyone's going to be looking at CD, so I can look elsewhere.
Well,
but he's
always coming back that way too.
I think it should be absolutely 100% your first option. Look at CeeDee Lamb.
Well, as CD gets rolling, guess what? That opens it up for those other guys too, all in the same way.
Right.
And they haven't ran the ball great. Maybe a little bit better. Pollard maybe getting a little bit more healthy off of that injury that's less than a year ago. Lots of things there, but Dak is 100% in the mix now. Whether or not he can win it, your guess is as good as mine. History would tell you no, because history would tell you in these big games against the better teams, those stats don't add up the same way they do against the worst teams. But there is a world, there's no doubt about it, that we're living in, that Dak Prescott could be the MVP.
He did some things on Thursday night that kept the game alive for him. When he knew there was a score away, they just need to move the football, and he moved the football. That one play where he somehow escaped that sack, and it was only like a 4 or 5 yard gain, but I've seen Dak
ends up
in the
being
past,
like a 12-yard gain because you don't lose the 7 and you get the 4 or 5.
Yeah, and I've seen him escape those in the past and throw it away. Or throw it to the other team. He just checked down. Like, okay, this is a guy that, they saw that was happening, was coming back at him. He didn't throw it downfield, deep past the sticks. Like, oh, there's my safe guy right there. So it's like smart stuff right there.
Who is your top 5?
My top 5, I'll go 5-1. I put the Dolphins at 5. I put Cowboys at 4. Chiefs at 3. Eagles still at 2. And 49ers 1. I was reluctant on 2 and 3, but it's what it is. What do you got?
Last week I had Jacksonville, and then Trevor Lawrence hurt. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything yet. How bad on that ankle? Looked awful.
It looked weird, didn't it? It looked awkward.
It looked awkward. So we'll see about him. They have to drop out of the top 5, losing to a Joe Burrow-less Cincinnati on your home field.
By the way, I was trying to remember who's the last big name or name quarterback from the University of Washington, and I was reminded last night of Jake Browning. I totally forgot about him.
I'm going to go Cowboys 5, Dolphins 4, Eagles 3, Baltimore 2, and San Francisco number 1. Some teams that are kind of creeping that way. Oh, no, whoa. I forgot one. No. Dolphins out. Detroit.
You got Detroit back in there.
Detroit. I like Detroit. Detroit 5, Dallas 4, Philly 3, Ravens 2, and San Francisco number 1.
Man, that Saturday night, December 30th game, Detroit coming to Dallas, that's going to be huge for a lot of reasons. They're inducting Johnson into the Ring of Honor. It's going to be
tie breaks. I mean,
yeah, that's going to be fun.
Because when you look at the NFC right now, you got 9-3 San Fran, 9-3 Detroit, 9-3 Dallas, 10-2 Eagles. Come late Saturday or late Sunday night, we could have 10-3, 10-3, 10-3, 10-3. San Francisco's got the tie break over Dallas and Philly now with those head-to-head wins. Wonder if they play. Nope, they don't play Detroit. Dallas, obviously, to even it up on the season series with Philly is a huge thing coming up. Division records probably ends up being tied. The conference record is going to be a problem for Dallas. All 3 of their losses are against NFC teams. Philly has 1 of 2 losses, which the second one would come. Then Dallas would need somebody else from the NFC to beat. Then it goes way down in the tiebreak. And when you look at the Philadelphia schedule after Dallas, it's pretty light. At Seattle, they could possibly lose on Monday night the next week. But then you know what they finish with? Home Giants, home Cardinals, at Giants.
Yeah. You can navigate that all right.
That's about as simple as it gets.
Yep.
All right. Once again, Mayor Toy Drive. The Mayor's Toy Drive is going on right now. You have till Friday down at the City Hall to sign up to receive some toys. Key Club Pancakes supper tonight at the basketball game. Also, bring a toy, unwrap toy, bring a toy, and you can get in free to watch the Elks and Elkettes against the Clinton Lady Reds and Reds. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Skinny on Sports podcast with Aaron Cow. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to get alerts of when the latest podcast is available. Thanks for listening.
That ball is blistered to right. Way back. Goodbye.
Paul Jones Drug offers a free service that makes taking your daily medications safe and easy. It's called convenience packaging, meaning they can combine all of your daily medications and put them in sealed, separate daily packages. This process replaces you from having to fill your daily medication dispenser. And as always, Paul Jones Drug prepares individual blister packaging for long-term care patients. With their drive-through window, curbside service, and free local delivery, it's just more reasons you should choose Paul Jones Drug, 809 North Main Street in Elk City.
I'm Rodney Skinner with Paul Jones Drug, and I promise we provide care you can trust.